Hello, beautiful people. Saturday evening, very lovely weather right here. It's Parenting Essential Live. Oye is here. Parenting Essential Time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming back. Don't mind my voice today. I'm just going to be quick about this and we're going to be out of here in a short while. So, how are you all doing today? Don't forget, I said that in the last 2 weeks that it's going to be about answering questions in the remaining Saturday of the year. And next week Saturday is going to be the last parenting essential for the year. Yo, we always close early of the year and we come back by the end of January because we need to unwind, rewind, prepare for the new year, and check what we have done and what God wants us to do again for the new year. So next week Saturday, I'm still going to be here live and to answer more questions. We're not starting new topics. We're just going to continue to answer questions as much as we have in and as much as the time will permit. Today I have 2 questions, but I'm not quite sure I'll be able to answer the 2. But if the time permits, I'll definitely answer the 2 questions. If not, we still have next week. But I hope you can hear me. I have a little bit of cracked voice today, but I'm fine. It's just the cold weather. All right, if you're seeing my face for the very first time today, my name is Oye Esther, and this is from the Vision Guide, and it's called the Parenting Essentials. In the last 2 Saturdays, I've answered quite a lot of questions. So, and I believe if you're a parent, intending parent, a caregiver, a foster parent, a teacher, these answers are going to worth your time. So do well and search our page on Facebook. I know Facebook is deleting videos, but no worries. Every video is right there available on our YouTube channel on the Vision Guide. Trust me, these questions along with the answers are going to educate you, are going to get you ready for the journey ahead, are going to help you even in the journey that you are into. Don't forget, we always say that parenting is a journey, not a destination. So there is no master of all, in as much as there's no tailored approach for one child to another. And that is why we have to keep learning. As our children are growing from one stage to another, from one phase to another, we need to keep equipping ourselves to get the right skills that we need part time. So I want to say thank you all for joining me today. So today I am going to start with a question, and if time permits, because I really want to get in depth with the answers of this question this time, because some of these questions I have answered them years back. Maybe the person that has asked this question is just joining us in recent years, but I'm sure this is a familiar question that I've answered before. And I want to make sure that this is clear to as much as many people that will be listening or be watching this video later. This person asked that my child do not always listen. So if that might not be your child, you might want to learn this for yourself or for somebody. Don't forget, no knowledge is going to be a waste. It might be for you, it might be for another person at a time. You want to prepare yourself. Maybe you are not even a parent yet. So I want you to please listen attentively to this question, and I will try as much as possible to answer this question in details. My child do not always listen to me when I give instruction, not until I shout. And I can see the same with other family. It seems obedience is by shouting. Kindly clarify. See, this is a question, but I can see a lot of things. Hello, TikTok. Thank you for joining me, everyone right there. Thank you for joining me. This is a simple question. However, there are quite a lot of things that I can see in this question. My child is not listening to instruction, not until I shout. And I can see the same with other families. It seems obedience is by shouting. Kindly clarify. If I am sitting with you face to face, there are quite a lot of things that we are going to do together. I'm going to dig together, but I will try as much as possible to just underline it before I answer this question. You can see the same with other families. First, what do you see in your family? With the family that are close by to you, this is the same you are seeing. That might be ringing something. I don't know your family values. I don't know what you stand for as a family. But it seems what is happening in your family is the same thing that is happening in the maybe the close relative that you are, people around you. That's the same thing they are also doing. Disobedience is the order of the day. You have to shout. And Kindly clarify. I'm going to start by saying no. No, sir. Disobedience is not by obedience rather is not by shouting. So maybe you are used to it already. You're shouting, and that is only when your child will obey. There are quite a lot of factors that we quickly going to underline. One, it might be your own personal upbringing. We don't know who engineered you, how you were raised, how your parents spoke to you. Maybe you were raised by your parent or by your foster parent, or we don't know what happened. So this might also be a factor. Maybe you've been patterned to believe that raising voice is equal to obedience. So you might need to check yourself. You might need to get help or get a professional, or if you can do it by yourself, go ahead and do it, fine. To evaluate yourself, check in how you were raised. Were you patterned to always raise your voice when you're talking? Were you raised to believe that until a child will obey, you have to shout? That is just an aspect. That is not even where I'm going to today. So that might be a factor. Another thing that I cited in that question is you sit that with other family. So that gives you a kind of ease to feel like, you are not alone in this. It's happening. That is what we call, because it's common. It's okay. We can manage it. Because it's common. The fact that something is common does not mean it's right. So you have to really be careful. It's common does not mean it's right. And, and I just say, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. It is very important for you to work with people that you have the same value. And that is why I started with how you were engineered and how you were raised, so that everybody can understand. And now you're talking about that's what you see with other family. And I've already said that, and I'm going to say it again. No, obedience is not by shouting. But before I dive into the psychology of this aspect of this response, I want to share something quickly that can also be a factor when you speak to your child or you give direction and they're not following through or they are not listening to the instruction. I shared this about few years ago. That should be over 4 years ago or thereabout, 4 or 5 years ago. It should be up to 5 years ago. And I remember I shared this I had a question that is similar. And I remember that particular video is right there on YouTube. And I shared a factor that there was a particular time, I think that should be around 4 or 5 years ago or more, that our daughter, when I speak to her, I noticed that she wouldn't respond one time or two times. You're talking to her, you at the time you feel like maybe she's just ignoring you. But I knew something was not right. Something was just not normal. So I took my time to understand what is going on. So always remember as a parent, instead of you to just burst out, to just, you are out of line, you're just angry. Your job as a parent is to know what is going on. The underlying issue is that what is the factor for this? That is, what can call your attention to this is the value you have as a family. It's what you have done in this life of these children before. It's what you have raised them to be. So when it's kind of me, it was a sudden change that I noticed. Why is she not listening? Why is she not responding? So I took time to study because I understand the unique child that I'm raising. So I realized that when I talk, she's not responding. Then I asked her to come. Then I checked the ear. By the time I checked her ear, it was totally blocked to that I have to take her to the hospital. We had to, in fact, the doctor couldn't do the procedure one time. It was totally blocked. Imagine if I wasn't patient, if I wasn't the parent that pay attention to details, or, I wasn't a skilled parent, I'll just be shouting. And I believe that, what? Now you are a bad girl. I had to shout before you respond. So these are the things. This is not even where I'm going to today. This is just a bonus point because that might be the case. But for many people that have similar question, this is not the case for sure. For many people that have similar question and say, my child doesn't listen, they don't follow instructions, until when I yell, they don't respond. Most of the time, this is not a factor, but I cannot say never ever. And that is why I'm bringing this back as a reminder that this can also be a factor because it happened to me before. So if I don't pay attention, I will just be in that space of, I don't understand you until I yell to you. But meanwhile, she wasn't picking the words. The years they were totally blocked. I remember we went to the hospital. The doctor tried and said, "You know what? They need to. She should go and lie down. You have to come back the following day." I was just trying to think how many parents are going through this now, and they're just shouting on this child. And I said a few weeks ago, I said, we always say every time, "I know my child. I know my child." And if somebody is maybe a professional, a colleague, a friend is telling you that, you know what, take it easy on this child. It might not be like that. You don't want to hear. You just say, "No, you don't know my child. I'm the mother. I'm the father." And I asked a question. I said, how many times have you opened your child's brain to actually see the state of that brain? I mean, physically opening it, dissecting it, and seeing, is there a blood flow? Is my child using the front brain or the back brain? Excuse me. How many times has that happened to you before? No, I'm sure that is totally no for every parent. There's not been the time that you have opened your child's head and check. I just want to check the brain. Even if you are a surgeon, a medical doctor, or whatever it is, I'm sure you have not called your child to open their head to check what is going on in their brain. So you cannot always say, "I know my child." It's just that it doesn't just want to listen, or she doesn't just want to listen. There might be an underlying factor. And that is when you have to come with your calmness and your A-game parenting skill and paying attention to details. Never say never. So let's go back to, let me dive into the psychological part of this thing. A child who is not listening. First, reparent yourself as a parent. Evaluate yourself. Because if I explain the psychological part of this, and you have the underlying issue of you've been raised, you've been engineered, patterned to believe that raising your voice is the normal way, you will still not get it. And you will be playing the victim while the child is the victim. So you have to just evaluate yourself. Am I actually speaking calmly, or am I actually used to yelling when I'm talking? Am I used to just raising my voice and thinking, and then I would explain the psychological part in a short while now. So check these things totally so that you can know, so that you don't just play victim. All right. I said it, and I'm going to say it for the third time, that no, obedience is not by shouting. And I've just cited an example of our own experience as a family when we noticed that one of our children were not responding. That was about 5 years ago. What happened, what I noticed, and how that went down. So that can be any other person. So, but you have to know that there are laws when it comes to response. It might be what you have done over the time, how you have patterned the brain. Because most of the time, when we have the case like this seems to be like a law of classical conditioning. That child has been conditioned to know that, you know what? When mommy say, for example, if the child is Timothy, please pick up the cup and take it to the kitchen. You have conditioned that child to know that when you talk like that, you are actually joking. The brain has registered that, and I'm going to explain. I'll try to bring it back down to everybody's understanding, to understand the psychological aspect of it. The brain is conditioned that I know I don't have to stand up and go and take the plate and go and take it to the kitchen. The moment mommy is going to shout, or dad is going to shout, "Timothy, I told you to get the plate and take it to the kitchen," that is when the brain will say, now she's serious. She's not joking. It is not the child's fault. It is you who doesn't know that you have unconsciously or unknowingly conditioned that child to know that only when daddy speak very loud and yell, that is when he or she, maybe mommy is not joking and daddy is not joking. "Oh, but you know what? I tried the soft one. It's not working." You have used it hard voice, yelling voice over the years. And when the brain has accepted that, it takes training again. You have to recondition that child to let the brain be aware. Now, this is the rule around there. This is how we respond to instructions. So it's not an automatic thing. It's just but I spoke gently. Some people, you just hear some parents and just smile and like, okay, it's not like this. Just relax. "Oh, coach, I explained to you. And you know what? I said, now, I went home. I didn't shout. I just said, you know what? This soft thing is not working. It's not about soft or hard. It's about what you want, how you want to raise your children, and understanding about the conditioning aspect. So I'm talking about the classical conditioning law. That is the Pavlov law. It's a law in psychology. It is what you have, you pattern the brain, how they want to respond to the stimuli. When to respond, how they will choose to respond, how quickly they are going to respond, how to respond to a certain way, certain place, certain voice, and the kind of, the experience. And the same thing goes to dog. Okay, why do people train their dogs, their animals, their cats? They speak to them and they listen. You see people giving deep instructions to dogs and they are following. It's the same conditioning. It's the same psychology. So also our children, for example, now a child is playing, and I've said this before in many years ago in some of my videos. I say some of us, because we lack skill, we are playing victim now. Meanwhile, we lack routine understanding when it comes to children, especially for early years. For example, your child is playing with toys. They have their play corner around the house. They are enjoying this. Maybe they're building Legos, building blocks, puzzles, whatever it is. And you know that the child is interested in this thing. And anytime it's clean up time, this child is always struggling to clean up. So you now say, my child is not listening. I said clean up, but the child is not cleaning up. It doesn't work like that. In that situation, what you're supposed to do is to make a routine and pre-inform the child. In 10 minutes, we are going to clean up. 5 minutes again. In 5 minutes, you're going to stop what you're doing and we are going to clean up. Don't wait until the last moment and you are shouting on the child and you are saying your child is not listening. It doesn't work like that. Stop playing the victim. That child is the victim, not you as a parent, not you as a caregiver. So you're supposed to condition the brain of the child to be, okay, before we just stop, I am going to get notified. I'll finish what I'm doing. And, it's just 1 minute more, we are going to clean up. And we are cleaning up. You don't turn it to a battleground. For early years, you join in the cleaning up. You clean up together. They know that, okay, another time we are doing this again. Okay, I don't want to give my child this because he will never stop. It's because you don't know how to train that child to know that there is time to start and there is time to stop. For some people, you keep saying that, you know what, my child doesn't follow instruction, I need to shout. You are calling your child's name, number 1, number 2, number 3, the 3rd time, the 4th time, until the 6th time, then you now yelled. That's the conditioning that we talked about. For example, if you're calling an early years child, maybe a preschooler or school stage child, and they are not responding to you, what you do most of the time is talking above their head. Your words are flying. There is no eye contact. They are not even, they're not attaching those voices or your voice that is coming that you're talking to them. And that is why it is very important for you to understand the child you are raising, not the one your friend is raising. But my friend, if she talk one time, even the 2 years old will respond. Hello? So what you need to do, instead of raising your voice the 2nd time or the 3rd time, don't do it. The more you do this, you are training the brain to be conditioned that mommy will call you 7 times. On the 8th time, she's going to shout. Then I can look at her. Then she's serious. If you notice that most of these toddlers, when you do that to them, they will look at you and smile before they run away. In their head, you're putting it to them that you are not serious. And that's why they look at you most of the time and smile and they just run away. So you call a toddler 1 time, no response. Please don't do it the 2nd time. Move close to that child, squat, go to that child's level, give eyeball to eyeball and say, call the name, Timothy, I called you. Pick this and take it away. Don't wait until you get frustrated. Don't wait until you yell and you start tagging your child. So the child is not going to teach you this particular skill I'm sharing now. It is your duty to learn this skill as a parent. So stop saying, my child doesn't listen. Stop being the victim. The child will be the victim if you don't learn the desired skills. So it's very important. So this is going to, make them to choose when to respond. Mommy is not serious. Mommy is serious. That didn't mean what they are saying. That is what is happening. And that is the psychological aspect of this. Excuse me. Okay. I've managed to answer one question. I am quite cold this evening. I've managed to answer one question, and I think that is going to be all for today. I will answer. I have one more question here. I will see if I get more before next week. Just send in your question if you have. But I believe the last question here is going to take more time if I start now, because it's about sex education. So I'm going to be sharing this next week. At what age can I start teaching my child sex education? Let me start with this next week, because this one we want to also break it down. But as you go today, don't forget that child does not just want to listen. That child does not want to disobey. I want to disobey. No, you need to find out what is going on. At the yes block, can the child hear? Am I shouting over the child's head? Do I come to the child's level? Maybe you're thinking in your head, no, my child is not a child, it's not a little baby. I don't need to come to the level. My child is a teenager. 13 years old, it's not listening. So, coach, you don't know. And some of you are so open, you know so much, and you confidently display whatever it is. I don't want to call it stupidity. And because you have a lot of people that's going to back you up, you even post it on social media, and everybody is telling you, this is how they behave. Hello? This is not how they behave. This is not how they behave. Because you see majority telling you that's how their own child is doing, does not mean everybody is raising their children like that. So you are saying now my 13 years old doesn't want to listen. My 14 years old doesn't want to listen. Do I need to keep shouting? I need to shout. You don't need to shout, sweetheart. You have raised that child, and that child is a teenager now. So it's a long journey. The brain has been conditioned that mommy and daddy, we always shout. So can you have a remedy? Can you work on it? Yes, but it's a lot of work. So first thing is to admit and say you have not done well to yourself. I'm not saying go and say somebody, but if you continue to see that the problem here is with the child, you will not be able to work on yourself. If you continue to think that child is just stubborn, he has been like that from 6 years, you hear some people, you just, I'll just hold my peace and just look at them. Where do we start? There is nothing anybody want to tell you. It is the child's fault. No, you have to know that you have done some errors. You have conditioned the brain of your teenager, and it will take extra work for you to be able to correct it. So you have to go back to the drawing board by connecting or reconnecting with your teenager. So if you are talking to a teenager and they are not responding to you, and actually they are hearing, but they just ignored, there is a lot of connection. And that is where the parent-child connection come in. Some of you have never connected with your child before. Some of you were connected, but you lost connection. You might not understand what I'm saying, but send a DM. We have a program that we run that is called the Parent-Child Connection, where we guide parents daily on step-by-step how to connect with their children. So these are not just what I can just explain, because you will not understand. It's a practical step. So a teenager that is not listening, it is possible for the child to listen, but you have the work to be done. Nobody's going to do the work for you, but you have to admit that you did not go on the right path because you didn't know. What you don't know, you don't know. And what you don't know, you can't teach. You can't pour from an empty cup, but you have come to realization, oh my, the method I used wasn't right. And now I want to learn, I want to unlearn what I have before and relearn and work on the right path. Then you can walk. We can walk this journey along with you. Oh, my teenagers are already using substance. They have been abused. What can you do? There are programs that have been set apart for this kind of thing. And these children need to be saved. These children need to be worked on. But please see that you have work to do as a caregiver, as a foster parent, biological parent, teacher. These children are in your care. What's your plan? What are you doing? So I believe I've been able to answer this particular question. If the question is not clear enough to the person that asked the question, or you want another aspect for me to touch, please go ahead and send it in. But I believe explaining the psychological aspect of it is going to make you to understand. It's a conditioning. It's a conditioning. They've been raised. They believe They believe that shouting is when I need to respond, and you can work on it today. You can start working on it today. Don't see the child as a bad child. Don't see the child as, don't see yourself as the victim. No, you're not the victim. The child is the victim. It's because you didn't know how to respond at a certain time. That is why you conditioned your children not to listen straightforward unknowingly, but you can do the work. I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I'm just going to stop on this one question. My voice is not so clear today, and it's very cold for me today. So I'm just going to stop on this one question, but I want to believe that it's worth your time, and you've been able to understand that when children are not listening, it is not a normal thing, because you're seeing it other places. I can see my friends, their children are also not listening until they yell. I think obedience is by yelling. No, obedience is not by yelling. Go back to the drawing board, map out your own family values. What are the things you are doing in your family? What do you stand for in your family? Then you begin to tick out. By the time you go back to the drawing board, some people are going to be out of your life. And I know you don't want to hear that. Hey, especially mothers. Some people are going to be out of your life, but don't forget you have the work to do, because the work you want to do will not be easy with some friends around you. So you need to take them out. No, I cannot let my friend go. So it's your choice to choose. Do you want to raise a child that is going to let you go and just go out and be wayward for the rest of their life? Or you rather let those friends that are not in line or aligned with your family values go away? Totally yours. The decision is yours. But I believe and I trust that you're wise enough to know that you rather let those friends that are not in line with your values go away. I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Quite a lot of people there that has been joining on TikTok. Thank you so much for joining. Facebook, Instagram, thank you so much, everybody. YouTube, thank you so much. Next week Saturday rather. I need to go. I want to just leave here right now. Next week Saturday rather is our last Saturday for the year, and we are going to be back in 2026 for live Parenting Essentials. I can be live for any other thing. On TikTok, I'll be live and every other page. But for Parenting Essentials, next week Saturday is going to be the last Saturday for answering questions. And we're going to get ready for 2026, where we are going to be more intentional and carry our vision jealously. Don't forget that this is called the Parenting Essentials. It's the home of key strategies to parenting. And if you're seeing my beautiful face for the very first time, my name is Oye Esther. I'm a family life practitioner and a parenting coach, and this is coming to you from the Vision Guide. Stay blessed and bye for now. God bless you. God bless you, everyone on TikTok. God bless you, Facebook. God bless you, everyone. God bless you. See you again next week by the grace of God.